It's Foodtopia! The way we dreamed!
Wasn't that what the first one was meant to be? Like, this is, you know, this, you would assume this is the ending of the movie, but no, there's an entire TV series that has happened. Also, isn't she dead? Spoilers, by the way. Ah, yeah, okay, never mind, I just jumped the gun on it. Spoilers, even in the trailer, by the way. If you've been keeping up with the TV show, the bread is dead, in case you weren't aware. Ah, so this is a thing again, eh? Do you remember the fact that Sausage Party had a TV series? I did some coverage over this TV series about a year ago, and even I barely remember the details of it. And this... God, this is very much past its expiry date. I've got to be honest. This is the classic Season 2 nobody asked for the sequel series nobody asked for, from the movie that was okay, had some interesting ideas, and did not get properly explored in said sequel TV series.
Ah, gross, what the fuck?
Jeez.
No, you look at it.
Wow, it's funny, the cream egg was cut in half. Remember when there was like a spaghetti guy holding in his own intestines in a war parody? That at least had layers to it, you know? And not just because it was a can of spaghetti. That was just like an Among Us corpse, at best, without any substance or even a bone. This is not as bad as Megamind 2, but I mean, just look at it. Look at the footage unveiling in front of your screen. There are so many red flags here, and I don't think it's working out very well. The direction this franchise is going is just classic lowball entertainment that is interesting. It kind of has potential as the idea that it's based around, but I don't think anything would still have potential after however long this franchise has actually gone, you know? I don't know if even a good version of this world would work as a third installment to the world.
We've domesticated humans.
Oh god, this is why they made it more, isn't it? This is why there's more of this. It's because they worked out a funny idea, and now they're gonna run with it. Peppers wearing butt plugs, domesticating humans. This is like a franchise that is already eating itself on concepts. It didn't even need to go any further than, oh wow, it's funny, the food got eaten. You kind of lost me in the first movie when it immediately went into, oh, drugs mean you can see them. You know, it's kind of low-hanging fruit. Then there was the orgy scene. And skip a few other beats, now we're finally here. I don't know what else there is to expect. Glad Amazon Prime's got their priorities in the right place, though. Because you remember when you first heard about Sausage Party, right? It was that little short advertisement segment of baby carrots being eaten inside of the mouths of a simple middle-aged woman, right? As a short film, extortionately great dark comedy. You then come round to the actual movie, where it's very clearly going for that raunchy, little edgy kind of comedy tropes, and in some places, I think it works really, really well. In a lot of other ways, you kind of lose the general people, to the point that this franchise isn't as large as, you know, you'd expect for a 30 million viral video starter pack.
There has to be a better place for us.
Free food finds...
Okay, so since the name is Foodtopia anyway, now we'll just outright make our own Zootopia. Turns out all of society has sorted out the food problem now. Buildings are made out of refrigerators, and the humans that existed in the first movie and the first season now missing. Ah, God, how are you even going to continue this show without your second most iconic character? Now, I watched through all of season 1 of the TV show, and I'll be honest, I was not that well impressed. It was nice to see how they could expand the universe, but they didn't expand the universe in much of an interesting way. The humans are missing in the near vicinity to the shop. Only a couple of humans exist, and they kill some and enslave another. And then there's a big sort of political uprising as they try to work out how the mechanics of their foodly world can work now that they are officially free. And it's like, yeah, that's nice. Where is the food bit, though?
My wingman!
I like the bits of the gory food stuff. Cool, great. It's not as appealing, though, when they're getting stepped on or attacking each other with weapons, you know? There's something just visceral about baby carrots in the teeth, you know? Like, it's that Attack on Titan vibe of, wow, if you think about it, it's so scary to be a little guy that could be killed in such a brutal way. This is just like now the same deaths as any other person in any other animation. There's nothing that makes these deaths unique as food people other than the fact that they can be squished But even then, if there was a human that was gigantic and he did a backflip on you from a lamppost, you'd probably be squished too. So, like, they took the food out of the Foodtopia. Other than that you saw the cream eggs insides look like a cream egg. The rest of this is just normal characters. It's just, you know. And we're used to non-human characters since Toy Story 1. At least in 3D. There's elements here and there. There's all sorts of mechanics they can kind of play around with, but it's just never gonna be as good as that initial commercial twang. That first real hit, because there's not much more to think of once you get past the what if foods didn't want to be eaten bit.
Just gonna breed contempt.
Like, this isn't as bad as like Megamind 2, but I feel that tone, to be honest with you. It's like, okay, we have now a good human. Let's just like keep doing antics with this human. He's already past his prime. He had his most notable scene in a full-on outright sex scene. Welcome to Sausage Party Foodtopia, everybody. Be on board or get on board. Now, there are a couple of highlights from that first TV series. In trying to continue the edgy vibes of the first movie, they felt the need to really push the boundaries in a couple places. There is a very direct sex scene between the sausage protagonist and the human that they have taken. There's some very dark, direct allegories for like poverty and the likes that I don't really think is executed very well. Like, it's in there and it's, they don't really manage to do much. They're certainly not telling a message. I don't think you're gonna find, cinema in this cheaply done Amazon TV series. And then as well, at the very, very end, they do a big old no-no on how on earth they're gonna make more sequel content from here. They kill the second protagonist. Just outright. I guess it must have done well enough on Prime. I certainly was one viewer that added to the collection, because they're making more, but it feels like they're running out of steam. In fact, a lot of the elements that seem to be in this trailer are kind of beats you would have expected to already be touched from the premise of a series at all. This is like season 1 again.
I'm not fighting you. If you really want to kill me.
So like, hey, I like that. That's nice. A simple subversion. That feels like an endgame spoiler, though, I'll be honest. That felt very late in the game. Also, I'm looking at the next shot as well after I paused. The characters just look exactly identical, like the humans, and that takes something else away from it. I'm gonna be honest. I know it's a TV show and it's on a lower budget, but like, way to make it feel so fake and flat when the humans that are domesticated look exactly the same. Is it a parody on the military and haircutting? Maybe, but you can still find, I don't know, diversity in facial structure. Look at how much diversity there is in the body types of the actual food. I don't know, man, just feels cheap. It's running on that Megamind 2 vibe. Impressive to reach the depths of these days. Hey there, thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come along and subscribe if you haven't already to see more animated trailers. They're not all gonna be winners though. Sometimes it's the trenches of more Sausage Party stuff. Yay. Anyway, let's get to the second half of that now, shall we? That's nice. I mean, it's not nice, but like, that's a hint of using the food basis that you've got to run with something new. I don't know what applies as acid on a sausage, and maybe that's just me not being foodily experienced enough to tell you what substance that's meant to be, but if it's something real, then that's really cool. If it's just generic gel, if it's ketchup or something that doesn't make a sausage boil, it's just sulfuric acid, then it could be anybody else. It's just well as be James Bond, you know what I mean? This is like season 1 again. They've unlocked the world of a Foodtopia for themselves, gotta work it out. Now, they leave the current one they've designed because they don't like how the politics worked out, and now they found a new Foodtopia with even more evacuated regions of humans and a whole city with refrigerators as buildings and everything, as if to insinuate that humans are long gone extinct, and basically we can rip off Disney's Zootopia now that we're actually working things out. Is a lot. It's a lot going on, and also it's not a lot because I don't see anything under the surface here. Take it as someone who has actually seen every minute of the Sausage Party, cinema experience. It is either copying the directions they've already tread, or making sort of generic surface level storylines that kind of don't lean into the food thing anymore. These could be humans as far as I'm concerned. You just take out the fact that there's a giant human in the cast once or twice. Actually, in this, there's now a whole clone army of humans as like tools. But like, you know, when foods are attacking with weapons, they no longer feel like food. And it all just becomes a little bit of a generic mess of like, well, somebody asked for this, but I don't think it was an audience member. Although I do envy the creators of Sausage Party in the state that it's in, because I wouldn't know what on earth you're supposed to do with a third installment of this thing.
Do you want the still alive screaming face part?
Like, that's the best part of the movie that they just ripped off from themselves again. Yeah, okay. Trying to find a way to write a good version of this show must be a crazy uphill climb, especially with your main romantic interest missing now from now on. They've managed to cram in all the main characters from the movie into this series by having them band together and leave, which isn't quite, I think, the established relationships they had at the end of season 1, to be honest. I feel like they just, of course, hammed that in because they're the main people. But I think, in a lot of ways, I was a little bit of a defender of the first movie in saying it did some interesting things, it had some nice ideas, there was potential in places. But at this point, I can't see what potential is left. I mean, they already did a very direct sex scene and they killed their protagonist. What else can you do to push those boundaries other than more character holding onto their own internal organs? And from the looks of things, they are taking it a very generic route. They can't even make the human characters look visually distinct from each other, let alone actually playing around more with the foodie mechanics beyond what the villain worked out in the first movie. So... And I like that the music in the background is, and another one, and another one. It's like, they know what they're doing. Coming out August 13, eh? I'll write it down. I'm gonna be busy that day, but I'll make time for it. Oh, right on top of, it's the same time as the DVD for How to Train Your Dragon and Elio. Alright, if you say so. It's just a lot of the same. The kind of show that you'll know exists, but you probably won't watch. But I will be forced to, and I certainly will, to make a lengthy, terrible review out of it, unless it, you know, surprises me. I'll keep an open mind. It's just the things I've seen so far are pretty low-hanging fruit, you know? There are jokes in some places that are very unlayered, and then sometimes there isn't a joke at all.
Frankfurter and his friends. We won't. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Wow. You know, it's almost impressive to me that they didn't manage to turn that into a joke at all. Like, there's no twist. There's no layering. They didn't... Where's the funny bit of that? Other than that he swears to leave. This is like watching a zombie show. You know what I mean? Where, like, it gets to a point where it's no longer about the zombies and just about people doing stuff. It's the same, except... Where's the food bit? It's just... people politics, but also their food at this point. It is a sad, sad sight, I guess, to see this status of Sausage Party, but also, what other status was it ever really going to be? This isn't exactly high-end cinema. It's a fun, stupid romp that seems to be focusing more on stupid than it is fun, actually. And judging by the views on YouTube, there's not a lot of demand for it either. Well, I'll just have to see how things turn out when I finally get to dedicate a full day to this and lose my mind piece by piece. Looking forward to it.
Look, Brenda. Look at what we achieved.
Oh boy, it has not even gotten any better looking. Only the best for Sausage Party Season 2. A project I can assure you nobody was particularly asking for. For now though, I'd best end it off there. My name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this. Do tell me your thoughts on Sausage Party Part 3, essentially. Did you even see the first season? Apparently there's a potentially dodgy mustard jar, from what I'm seeing from the trailer looping in front of my head. Yeah, okay. And on that note, I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio! I mean, I couldn't come up with anything better for this at this point. Oh well.